Now, welcome to a review of Tales of the Underworld, the Cad Bane episodes, where we kick it on over to Naboo to begin.
Surprised you're kicking it over to me first, because I know Cad Bane is a favorite character of yours.
He's my top bounty hunter and one of my
Yeah.
top characters. He's one of my favorite Clone Wars characters for sure. Probably like a
Hmm.
top 10-ish character for me.
Well,
I don't know. I love everything, the aesthetic, the look.
I know
He's
you
just
do.
a badass. He can go toe to toe with Jedi. Like, there's a lot to love about Cad Bane.
Right. I think Lots Razi is one of my favorite
Yeah.
bounty hunters, so I was happy to see that you got a little bit of love.
A little,
And,
yeah. I
yeah.
think she like doubled her screen time because like
She really. She's
she's
in
not
like an
featured a
episode.
lot.
What are you
Yeah,
talking
she's in
about?
like
She's like
two episodes, I
something like
think.
that. But I love the aesthetics of these episodes. I really do enjoy the fact that it honors the original Clone Wars look, and
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
animation is beautiful. Kevin Kiner always blows it out of the water with his scoring. I think I was just a little disappointed because it didn't feel, I don't know, it felt more like a primer episodes, like we're going to follow this character. Like if this was the first, have you ever showed me of Cad Bane before and then had a whole like series around bounty hunters with him in it, I'd be like, oh, that's awesome. But I know Cad Bane, and this origin story didn't exactly fit the Cad Bane I know.
I don't know that I thought of Cad Bane as like having this like troubled childhood where he's like a criminal and spends time in prison. I mean, it doesn't not fit.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just thought of him as like a bounty hunter who maybe had a mentor like we see in here, who was trained well and took after him. Sure, that's possible. But I just kind of saw him as like working his way to the best bounty hunter in the galaxy and didn't really have like a troubled past as much as he's just a really skilled bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's a criminal. He's been in prison.
Right,
I don't know.
he didn't feel like a bounty hunter in this.
Yeah, he felt
He
more
felt
like
like a
crime
gangster, like
lord
they had like a
gangster.
little
Yeah,
crime syndicate on this planet that
yeah,
we don't know very well. I just think I have higher expectations for Cad Bane because he is so good in the Clone Wars.
yeah.
He's stealing force sensitive kids.
He's
Like
breaking
you
into the
said,
Jedi Temple.
yeah,
Yeah,
he does so many cool things so that this origin story for him felt a little underwhelming. I just thought more.
it's a fine story. Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's kind of a cookie cutter story that we've kind of seen before. Two kids, one grows up and goes to the wrong side of the tracks. The other one becomes a marshal.
I think it was a little tropey. I can agree with you
Yeah,
on that.
it's not bad.
I mean, the first arc, the Asajj arc, was a bit tropey too.
Yeah.
It was the same as the Mandalorian. I'm a tough, rough and tough
yeah,
person and all that, and I find a kid, and they make me a better
softens me.
person.
Yeah, the Bad Batch kind of had a very
Yeah,
similar story to it as well.
Yeah, and Dave Filoni leans on his aesthetics. We had the samurai arc and the spaghetti western arc.
Yep.
He likes those aesthetics, so that's what he did. I just didn't feel very Underworld out of Tales of the Underworld.
Yes, I can agree with that. I don't know that I felt like this is like what I. If you tell me Tales of the Underworld, especially because it's almost ironic that like a month ago we had Rick McCallum come out and be like, Lucas had these 50 scripts written,
Mm-hmm.
which we've heard of them before, don't get me wrong. But he's like, they're going to be sexy and gritty and dark. And oh, if Disney would have never bought it because they were so kind of outside the box. And you were like, oh, so that kind of like primed you to like, oh yeah, that could be really cool to see that kind of that dark
Mm-hmm.
underside of Star Wars. And then they're like, the next day, like Tales of the Underworld is coming, and you're like, oh,
Right.
and then it's like this.
I think I expected to see Cad Bane doing more in the Underworld with
yeah,
the Bounty Hunters Guild, perhaps, or just taking jobs from local crime lords, things of that nature. Maybe a job that went too far or something. I don't know. Something that challenged him maybe in his early career as a bounty hunter.
yeah.
We instead got his backstory, which I'm not complaining about. I think it was interesting. I liked seeing that he had a friend, and
Yeah,
it
it's a
was really
fine
nice story.
Yeah,
I just can pick plot holes in it that I wish I couldn't. But I just want to know why nobody told Cad Bane he had a son.
yeah. It seems like
The
he
marshal
goes-
could have gotten him a message in prison, right?
So could have Aaron.
Probably. I mean, she
It-
married the marshal.
It's like they knew he was going to come back and cause a problem because as soon as he's out of prison on a technicality, whatever, they're like, oh, he's no doubt coming here. So they kind of knew he was going to come here.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you're anticipating, maybe you ahead of time be like, maybe we should tell him he's got a kid. Maybe that helps him kind of want to reform. Instead, it's like, nah, we're not going to tell him any of that.
Seeing as going to jail as a child, reformed Nero, right?
Exactly.
So-
He had a good. I mean, probably not a good experience. We don't know what his prison time or jail
His
sentence,
juvie, whatever
his
he was
juvie
in.
time, looked like exactly. But you would think he would look at that and go, "Well, I was reformed. Maybe we can talk to it." Maybe they did try, but then that doesn't make sense because it
Mm-hmm.
seems like they hadn't seen each other. I don't know.
It's confusing.
I feel like they failed him in a way by not trying to help him. I mean, it's his best friend as a kid and his kind of girlfriend, mother of his child, and it's like both of them are like, nah, we're not gonna try to
Mm-mm.
get in contact. He's just a lost cause, and he's gonna come back and cause trouble. We know it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember the Clone Wars Cad Bane being quite so revenge-driven.
No, he's just a
He's
dude.
just a dude doing his job in the universe,
Yeah.
collecting bounties, getting paid.
I think that's why there's this sense of disconnect. He's like, I don't, you get the impression Bane is like, I don't need to work with, he does work with others sometimes, yes, but you get this impression like he's just the best. And,
He is the best.
and I don't know that I see this as his backstory. I don't know.
I mean, there's the whole story. Like I said, this is a big revenge tale. First, he
Yeah.
has to get vengeance against the Marshal because the Marshal killed his, I don't know, mentor.
I guess we
could
call him,
say?
yeah.
He killed his
Teacher.
mentor, Leica, something
Yeah.
like that.
Not Lyco, but Lyca. Yeah.
Yes. So first we had to get revenge against that. Then he goes to jail, and now he needs revenge against the girl and against his friend because he feels betrayed. I don't know. It just, in my head, it doesn't fit Cad Bane's character.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I like Cad Bane.
I like Cad Bane
Oh, I know
too.
you like Cad Bane.
I would rather have had like more of a generic just story about Cad Bane and the Underworld and maybe his early days and how he got to be the best or one of the best. I think he's the best at the time.
Like, he
Like
could have been
Boba.
working in a crew of bounty hunters. These were not bounty hunters. These were definitely
Yeah,
thugs
it's like a
engaging in
gangsters, yeah, mob
turf
activity,
wars
yeah.
and stuff like that. I wanted to see how he came to be cruising the universe, getting jobs from crime syndicates and
Yeah, like,
besting the law and, I don't know, being cool.
again, I don't think it's a bad story. I just don't know that this is what I would have wanted to see out of Cad Bane's backstory.
I think I am echoing a lot of that sentiment. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy this. I'm
No, you
just
can like
saying,
it if you want.
like at the time when I was watching, I was like, "Wow, I'm enjoying this." And then afterwards, I kept thinking on the story, and I kept going, "Does this line up with the character I remember from the Clone Wars?"
Yeah, I feel like over the last couple of days, we've struck up a conversation about these 3 episodes
We
a
have.
few times, and each time we do it, we find more reasons not to like it.
Which is very disheartening because, like Tales of the Jedi, I really loved the Dooku arc. Really, really excellent. The Barriss arc I enjoyed. I even enjoyed the Morgan Elsbeth arc, but these 2 arcs, I enjoyed the Ventress, I think, more than the Cad Bane arc. But that's because I like Ventress better as a character, I think.
I think one of my biggest problems with Tales of the Underworld overall, besides it not really feeling too underworldy necessarily, it like flirts with it, is like if you go to Tales of the Empire, which I know a lot of people actually didn't like, a lot of people don't like the Barriss arc and thought, well, who cares about Morgan Elsbeth? And yeah, I guess, but it did feel like there were stories there waiting to be told. Like Barriss, how long have we been waiting to know what happens to Barriss?
Forever.
Since the end of Clone Wars, since season 5 of Clone Wars, and like Seventh Sister shows up in Rebels, and oh my, is this Barriss? Is it Barriss? And
Oh, yeah.
everybody's kind of
Yeah.
excited to know what happened to her. So there was a story there everybody wanted. And Morgan Elsbeth, maybe not everybody's favorite character, but certainly she has these big connections to Thrawn. She's looking for him. She's trying to bring him back, and we're like, why? And we kind of get that answer. So again, there's a story there like waiting to be told. And here it's like, has anybody ever been like, I wonder what Cad Bane was like as a kid? You think maybe he had a girlfriend once who got pregnant and he had a son?
It's
just feels
weird
like it's
because
kinda
we
forced.
thought we knew who Cad Bane was, and this new piece of the story is like, oh, so he's also a deadbeat dad
Yes.
and a thug.
Yes. And it's like, oh, I didn't really.
I mean, I've always thought Cad Bane was smarter than this.
I think so
I
too.
mean,
like,
is this
he-
the turning
yeah.
point that it was like, now I have to rethink my life? And then what happened to his kid? Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Yeah, I think like you were saying before, he kind of feels very revenge driven in this, and maybe that's kind of what shapes him later on. You could certainly make that argument, but I don't feel that when I see Clone Wars Cad Bane, like that there's this revenge arc behind him. He's just a guy who's really good. He likes money. He likes doing jobs.
Well, and the Venture story just made me think that there's more story to come.
Yes. Yeah, I don't see how that isn't like a precursor to a lot more Ventress, but I don't know where that happens. Because I don't feel like she shows up in Maul Shadowlord. I mean, maybe.
There's a slight chance, but I think Maul Shadowlord needs to stay Maul
Yes.
and not be like, and we're going to bring in other things to make you chew. No, keep
Yeah.
it focused on him, I think.
Yeah. If you wanted to do another anthology-style show, which I would have been fine with, you shouldn't have called it Maul Shadowlord. You should have called it The Time of the Empire, or that should have been called Underworld.
So this wasn't really Tales of the Underworld, because neither one felt really like the Underworld
not
story.
really.
This was Tales of the characters Dave wants to write more stories for.
Yes, absolutely.
Which might be what the entire series is called, all the tales. But
Yes, the Tales series is just like Tales of Dave Filoni's characters that he likes.
yes. Which isn't a problem until you're making a story for no reason other than to
It's
make a
Star
story.
Wars for the sake of Star Wars. That's the problem with these two arcs. I don't, like I said, I don't feel like there was a story here waiting to be told. I felt like this was a story just manufactured for the sake of having a story.
Yes. I would love to see more stories telling us about characters from the Clone Wars. I just think this wasn't the way to do it.
No, this is not the way.
No. And the story needs to make sense for these characters as well. We can't forget that that's almost more important than anything else, is there has to be a story to tell, not to tell a story to tell a story.
Yes.
I would have rather had a Tales of Embo.
Yeah,
We don't
Embo
know
would've been
anything
cool.
about
Yeah.
Embo.
Yeah, I would have been fine with Tales of Embo.
But Cad Bane, I feel like he's fleshed out enough that this story didn't exactly fit him. And yes, he's younger. He is much younger. And this story could help shape to who he becomes. But I didn't get enough of the joining pieces to see that this
No.
is where he's headed.
Yeah, I don't see him in, like I said, I don't see him in Clone Wars now and be like, oh, yes, this character makes more sense to me.
I wonder what happened to his son is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, he'll show
Did he
up
just
at some
leave
point.
him on the planet?
Maybe he's hanging out
ditch?
with Rada the Hutt in the Mandalorian movie.
Maybe.
Don't underestimate Dave's ability to...
Bring his characters in?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that is going to be all we got for you this time. It is your turn. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of the Cad Bane story arc here. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you have any issues with it? Whatever the case may be, leave a comment below. Let's talk some Star Wars, and until next time, thanks for watching.